Hey, how's it going, guys? I'm Dan,
I'm Paul.
and today we are going to talk about the two Vortex Razor optics that we use in our 14 optic LPVO shootout for MTS. So, we're going to jump into the manufacturer specs on these optics. We're going to talk a little bit about eye relief and eye box and some stuff that Paul did on that aspect of things. A little bit about the reticles, glass, things like that. So, let's get started with the Razor HD Gen 2 E.
That's almost like the Schmidt.
Yeah, we got a long one here. And it's an E, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. 1 to 6 by 24, coming in at $13.99 and a second focal plane. This one has the JM1 BDC reticle, a 30 millimeter tube diameter, all right, 4-inch eye relief, and a 115.2 field of view at 1x, which is on the higher end. We had 4 in the 120s, which are really good, but 115 is pretty darn good. And then 20.5 at max magnification. Now, that is, from what I can tell here, looking back, the biggest field of view at max magnification. Okay. So that's pretty cool. And then comes in at 21.9 ounces.
This is, like you said, it's the E model. So the E model, and if anybody knows anything more, throw it in the comments for me. But the E model is a little bit lighter than the legacy model, I guess you could call it, the initial model. And then the mag ring is supposed to be easier to turn on the E than it is on the old one. And
no,
I gotta tell you, if this is easier, I maybe had to have a pipe wrench on the old one, because man, it's smooth.
Tight.
It's smooth, but it's stiff, right? Like it's
smooth,
hard to turn.
Yeah,
it's smooth, but it's really hard to turn.
Yeah.
So, to the reticle, daylight brightness. It is absolutely daylight bright. It is not quite nuclear bright.
That's the word of the day.
Yeah,
right?
it seems to have been anyway. It really catches your eye. Not quite even like its counterpart here, but it's really good. It's completely usable in all lighting conditions we had up here. The eye relief, Dan, what was that?
So the eye relief came in at 4 inches.
4 inches. So
yeah.
What we did on these was I did a little bit of testing with how much back and forth movement you had in that eye relief to give you a good picture. So the Razor 6 here had 2.6 inches of back and forth where you had a good full image yet with no scope shadow, and a mind-numbing 5 inches. And I maybe think it was 5 because I ran out of just back and forth with my neck, to where the picture gets unusable with scope shadow. And the eye box reflects that. The eye box is one of the best out of the bunch. Me personally, I think it rivals the Kalas and stuff like that. So, very good.
Are you sure about that?
The box, yeah, the box is good on this.
I thought you said the glass. I'm so sorry.
No, not the glass. The eye box. The glass on this, this is a good segue to it,
yeah,
is really good. Razors are known to have really good glass.
Yeah, they do.
There's really no edge distortion or anything like that. There's nothing wrong with the picture. It's nice and bright. We've got some low light pictures that we did, and I think I need to explain in this video yet again. When we did the low light pictures, we adjusted the image to look what it looks like in real life. And what I mean by that is, when you can take your phone or your camera outside and take a picture in the dark, if there's any kind of ambient lighting, it will correct the exposure so much that the image looks really bright.
Yeah.
And that's not true to life. So what we did was we took a picture and then we held the phone up to it and kind of adjusted the exposure to where the images that you're seeing down below, or mixed in however we do it, look more like what you see in real life behind the scope.
Yep.
The alternative to that is not an accurate picture, so we certainly didn't want to show you guys that stuff. So, excuse me. One thing, I think we covered everything, right?
Yeah, I believe we did. Yeah.
One thing I want to say about this, if you're in our group and you've seen me talk about LPVOs, This is kind of the gold standard, and I honestly think that's because of the glass quality and then that elusive loose eye box. Not saying it's the best, and I'm not really going to tell you how it stacks up against all the other ones, but this seems to be the one that almost every scope gets compared to in the LPVO realm.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I like that scope a lot.
And a unique finish on these always, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't match anything.
Yeah, no, it doesn't match anything that I know
stands
of.
out on a rifle, right?
Johnny says they're purple.
Yeah, it's like a plum color.
Yeah,
like
it
plum
looks
gray.
brown to me, but I can see
yeah.
a purplish hue.
Johnny, it's purple.
Yeah,
definitely. Yeah.
Me and him got into an argument about that once.
Beautiful.
Whether if it was purple or
the beauty of the internet, right?
Right.
As if
Let's not solve world hunger or anything like that.
No.
Let's argue about the color on a scope, but
it's purple, Johnny. I'm gonna tell him after the video,
and I'll tell you like I told him. You're wrong. It's brown.
Yeah. Well, I've proven you to be incorrect on a few things before, but that's okay.
No.
All right. So, anything else to add on the E model?
I think so.
The economy model?
That's certainly not what the E stands for.
Not
that said, it
$13.99.
is, I believe, it's probably the cheapest scope that we have here, isn't it? On your
let me just double.
It's like $13.49.
So it matches the Patrol 6.
Okay, $13.99 then.
Yeah, and then the Voodoo 1.8 came in at $12.99.
Okay, all right.
And the Credo at $12.10.
Oh, so I'm way off.
No, not. I mean,
But you can buy the non-E model if you want a little bit more weight, and
what are they, like $8.99 sometimes?
I think they're usually $9.99.
Yeah, maybe $8.99 Black Friday sale. I think I've seen them around $8.99 from time to time. But yeah, if you guys know about any of the sales going on for folks that are interested in this, drop it in the comments if you want. This is second focal. I believe I mentioned that we're going to step up to the big brother here, the 1 to 10. So big difference here as far as magnification. Big difference in price.
Huge difference in price.
Yeah, going from 1 to 6 to 1 to 10, $24.99, $1,100, and they were gracious enough to give you a throw lever,
which the other one doesn't come with. By the way.
It does not come with. Yep. You can get one from MKM though, right?
No, yeah, I think that's actually who makes this one for Vortex.
Probably.
It looks like it, anyway.
This is metal though, right? I think a lot of MKM.
Well, they have both. They have aluminum.
Yeah, and they have that carbon.
Yeah, it's printed.
Yeah, carbon printed version as well. But we're going to talk about the specs here. So first focal plane now instead of second, right? We're looking at the EBR-9 MRAD reticle in this one, 34 millimeter tube, so it gets a little heftier. You're looking at 3.6 inch eye relief, a field of view of 1/16, so an inch more. Then we go down to 11.7 at 10, which is to be expected.
Yeah,
right. And then weight wise though, 21.95. This was 21.9. Right, and you weighed these with your scale.
On my scale, yeah.
So 21.9 to 21.95. So weight wise, they're the same.
Yep.
Size wise, let's get a little more closer on comparison.
They're about the same.
They're basically the same. Color, they're both purple, Johnny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're both brown, but same turret, same caps, same everything. The illumination, it was my turn, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The illumination on this one is what we've been calling nuclear bright. Just a handful of optics, and when we say a handful, I mean 2 or 3 that we say that about. As a red dot, this scope works great.
Can I just add to nuclear brightness? This is nuclear bright.
The attacker's brighter.
The attacker is.
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal your thunder.
No,
there,
it's on another level. We keep talking about these off camera, and the attacker is just. I don't know what's going on in there. There's guinea pigs or something running on the wheel.
Yeah, maybe they fed them some extra food or something, spinning that wheel fast.
But this one is, this is nuclear bright.
Yeah, it's definitely
it's really good.
Yeah, it's definitely usable as a red dot.
Yeah.
Which I look for in a lot of stuff. So, eye relief on this one, Dan. Well, I'm finding on my
eye relief
side.
on this was 3.6.
Okay, so with our moving relief test, this one's a little tighter. I come just shy of an inch of a perfect picture with no scope shadow at 0.96, and then you got about 2.8 inches worth of range before it's unusable due to all the scope shadow. The glass on this thing is really good, as it is with the other one. There's some fishbowling on this. I don't think I mentioned it on here. There is some fishbowling on this one too, up close. But there again, up close doesn't matter. You'll see the fishbowling in the pictures, but when you get out on the range, really, it doesn't affect anything because it's a function of being just so close, 10 yards or so. You can't even see it. Low light stuff. Nice and bright. I explained the pictures with this one, what we do with the exposure.
Yep.
You know, no surprises there. The eye box on this is good at 1, pretty tight at 10, which is kind of a common theme among these. But at 10, it's tight. You know, and it's not as good as its counterpart here sitting on the table. Regardless, I have it rated as a 4 on 1 to 5 for the eye box. You can really get out of position with it, but it's not as good as the Razor 6, which I have rated as a 5. I don't think I mentioned that.
Yeah.
You know, get your head out of whack when you're shooting stupid positions. Eye box is important.
And we would expect that with a second focal plane versus a first, right? I mean, the second's geared a little more towards speed shooting, right? And kind of
well,
more...
I mean, that for now we're getting into some of the stuff that we should, but we'll talk about it.
Save.
I'm good for talking about it for a second because, a first focal plane scope on 1 isn't going to be fast. Right, and we both do 2-3 gun type stuff, right?
Yep.
So that's what's important to me. Now the caveat to that being, is the dot bright enough to make it work? Because you'll see in the pictures and the video and stuff, this reticle without illumination on 1 is bad. It's just bad. It's tiny. You can't tell where the hell you're shooting at. You got a space between the branches that you can't see the dot there because it's so small. But when you factor in the illumination, it's completely usable.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that.
And that's what makes it fast. And that's why I personally want daylight bright. And I mean daylight bright, not, you can see it light up red, but it may not catch your eye. I mean, that for me doesn't do it. And this will probably be the last video in this little series that we post. We're doing this for you guys. It's about the scopes, not about us, for sure. And while we'll give opinions on this stuff, we're just trying to provide enough information where you can make your own choice.
That's right.
Nobody's paying us for any of this shit, or nobody gave us any. I mean, all the guys lent us scopes, but we got no product for any of this or anything like that. So this is completely neutral. And when we see something bad, we're trying to call it out. And when we see something good, we're trying to call it out. So
yeah, and we'll get into all those nuances in our final thoughts video, which is soon to be out. So Paul contacted me today and said, "Hey man,
let's do these.
Get over to my house. Yeah, we're gonna get these videos done and get these out to the community.
Run through it.
Yeah, so we sat down and hammered these out for you guys. So we hope they're beneficial to you. Interesting here, on the razors. We went through the specs. You got anything to add?
No, I just want to thank all you guys. Without you guys, we wouldn't be doing this.
Yeah,
and it's been a lot of work, but it's been a lot of fun.
It's been a lot. I just I've been in the gym, but Paul hasn't been in a month, so
I can only do one thing at one time.
Yeah, so. he's gonna be back in there soon because we are done.
God knows I need it.
So yeah, we're with his neck not being able to get a bigger eye relief. We're gonna have to do some functional movement.
Yeah,
stuff.
something.
Yeah, so
it only goes so far, man. It's
all right, guys. You have a great night. Thank you.
Thanks, guys.